Hi and welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I read chapter 2 of the Hound of Christopher and I hope you liked it. So please like, subscribe and turn on the notifications so you know when I post a new video. In this video, I'll be reading chapter 3 of the Hound of Christopher. So if you're ready, let's get right into it. Chapter 3. When Fernando arrived at the 10th floor, he exited the elevator and walked straight to the front desk in order to get the keys of his office from Molly Anderson, a 24-year-old woman who had been hired a year ago to work as the receptionist. Molly was Fernando's girlfriend. She had been born Annalise Kirsted to a Danish couple that had immigrated to Italy some 30 years ago. She had met Fernando while working as a stripper in a club called Lorenzo's, a strip club owned by a professional gambler named Benito Francolini.
Not only was Molly a stripper, but also a call girl who offered her services to the rich. 2 years previously, she had changed her name from Annalise Kirsted to Molly Anderson after stabbing her clients to death during a heated argument over how much she will be paid. She was never charged with the murder because her boss, Rosa Bonello, with the help of an old acquaintance called Bertrand Cobera, a former mobster who had turned police informer after doing time in prison for tax evasion, ensured that she did it. Since her client's death, Molly had ceased being a stripper. She never knew how Rosa had been able to get her off the hook, and she never asked. Nobody in her office knew anything about her past, not even Fernando, who had known her for almost 2 years. Molly's face brightened up with a special smile when she saw Fernando approach her desk. She was tall, slender, and beautiful, a natural brunette who had bleached her hair blonde. "My keys, please," Fernando formally said with a smile. "I was instructed to hand them over this morning," she replied. "By whom?" "Fabian Letizzi." "Where is he?" "He is in the conference room with Mr. Galante, the senior vice president and the company secretary. They know you're here and they are waiting for you." "Is there anything you know that I should know?" he asked, looking in the direction of the conference room. "No," she replied, shaking her head back and forth. Confident this was nothing other than a meeting to give him a heads up, Fernando made his way to the conference room and opened the door. As he walked in, his eyes met Salvatore's, who quickly gestured to the chair at the end of the table as he told him, "Shut the door and sit down." Fernando cagily headed toward the chair and sat down. "Do you know why we're here?" he asked. "No," Fernando replied, as he looked at each face there, trying to seek answers as to why he had been summoned, but nothing was revealed. "Give him this," said Salvatore, handing over a thick file to the company secretary. The woman took the file, walked over to Fernando, and dropped it in front of him on the table. "Open it," ordered Salvatore. Fernando opened the file and began reading the detailed accounts of the fraudulent activities and systemic extortion that had taken place in the finance division for many years. The more he read it, the more it became evident that he had been under investigation for a long time without knowing it. Naturally, this made him both upset and afraid. His fears grew when he realized that the investigators had linked Ray Lucci to the crimes, calling Lucci the unseen hand that had single-handedly accelerated Fernando Barry's growth in the company and had empowered him to function with impunity and total disregard. There was nothing in the file that wasn't true, and that included Lucci's indirect pressure on the long-serving staff of the finance division to resign because they would not aid and abet his criminal operations. A detailed account of the kind of pressure they were under was described in the letter they had each written to Salvatore, which was also included in the file. Now you understand why we have gathered here, Salvatore said, watching Fernando move his head back and forth as he leafed through the pages that contained his crimes. Fernando lifted his head up and nodded silently. There was remorse and great fear in his eyes. Deep inside him, he knew if charges were pressed, he would be sentenced and sent to prison for a long time. But that wasn't what worried him. What worried him was what Ray Lucci would do if he became aware of what had happened.
Suddenly, the door to the conference room opened, and two policemen walked in and headed towards Fernando. Not resisting, one policeman handcuffed him while the other read him his rights. "I will make sure that you spend a long time in prison," said Salvatore as the police helped him to his feet. "And I will ensure that no one hires a man like you should you make parole by any chance." With his head bowed low, Fernando was led away by the policeman, who took him straight to the police station and jail. This concludes Chapter 3 of The Hound of Christopher, and I hope to see you again. So please remember, like, subscribe, and turn on your notification so you know when I post a new video. Until then.